Ça fait maintenant 4 ans que ce jeu est live. Il y a énormément de changements qu'on veut apporter. Cette planification dont on parle à 2 ans, c'est une planification qu'on a faite avec l'ancienne core team. L'idée, ça va être vraiment d'explorer des nouveaux champs de gameplay, de retravailler des pans entiers du jeu qu'on avait laissé un petit peu tel quel depuis le chip du jeu. On s'inscrit vraiment dans l'objectif de parachever la vision originale de ce jeu.
We're planning 2 years ahead for the future of Rainbow Six Siege, and it's very exciting for us. The year 5 is going to be a hybrid year, a mix of what we have today and what we'll have in the future with year 6. The first half of year 5, season 1 and season 2, will be very familiar for everyone, and we're gonna have a couple of additions. 2 operators per season, map reworks, and in-game event are gonna be the core of what we're gonna be delivering. On top of that, we're gonna be adding arcade playlists and, of course, the Battle Pass. Now, for season 3 and season 4, things will start getting closer to our ambitions for the future. We'll keep map reworks, in-game events, and Battle Pass, and yes, this will be the time we switch to delivering 1 operator per season instead of 2, which in turn will be counterbalanced with new core gameplay content, plus we'll be delivering more narrative behind our new operators to our players. For year 6, the goal is going to be threefold. Number 1, Battle Pass and new operator will kick off the season along with our regular seasonal updates. Number 2, by this time, we have established our core gameplay-centric philosophy. Features and operator reworks will drop throughout the season, rather than right at the beginning, giving us the flexibility to deliver this content when it's ready and keep some surprises for the players. And number 3, finally, arcade playlists will become more frequent throughout the season.
The reason that we're trying to move towards core gameplay-centric is that we're in a very different context than we were about 4 years ago when we released. In that context, we had only 20 operators. Today, we have more than 50 operators, and so we feel like each of the new operators that we're adding to the game has a bit less impact than it did before. We're still targeting 100 operators, and we still want a lot more operators in the game. But we feel like we need to readjust a bit where we're putting our priorities and invest a bit more time and energy in things that have an impact on each of the rounds that you're playing while playing the game. We have a few first examples. We want to give you more communication tools, and by doing that, we're also trying to give you more ways to have an impact as an attacker during the preparation phase by spotting things in advance and sharing that information with your teammates. So other gameplay changes that you can expect and will affect everyone's gameplay are generic gadgets, so our standard gadgets that all operators can equip, or at least several of them. You can expect more of them during the next year. We're already working on several prototypes, but there's a lot more to come for sure. Coming forward, what we're going to do is to define tweaks as the little changes on operators, things that might have some code changes but are going to remain relatively small in scope. And what we will call rework will be big changes that completely changes the way and redefines the way that you play an operator. In year 5, you can expect a complete overhaul and rework of Tashanka.
On year 5, every season we'll have a major event. Our goal is really to improve gameplay, make sure that we explore different avenues and create that different experience to the players. So this year, we're happy to release the arcade playlist for a 4-day period. Our goal is to address gameplay modifiers, small minimum changes to the gameplay. For the first half, we want to release 1 per season, and by the second half of year 5, we would like to release multiple of them. The first arcade playlist that we want to release during season 1 will be the Golden Gun that we're about to introduce this spring. Everybody's equipped with 1 pistol, 1 bullet in the magazine, and you need to reload every time you shoot. It's small, it's not big, but it will change the pace during the week.
Pendant l'année 4, on a mis le pick and ban qui permettait d'avoir du contrôle sur quels héros vont être lors de la partie que les joueurs vont jouer. Et dans l'année 5, on va vouloir mettre le map veto qui va pouvoir donner du contrôle sur la map que vous allez jouer juste avant le début du match. Donc en année 6, on est en train de travailler sur un nouveau mode de jeu qui va mettre en avant les joueurs qui jouent en équipe, dans laquelle ils affronteront d'autres équipes pour savoir qui sont les meilleurs.
Le plus gros changement qui est à venir pour Year 5 est la mise en place d'un système de réputation. Le point le plus important est de savoir que les joueurs auront un niveau de réputation et que dépendamment de ce niveau de réputation, des rewards et des sanctions seront déclenchées. Le joueur sera toujours en contrôle de sa réputation et sera toujours au courant de qu'est-ce qui se passe via des notifications récurrentes.
We are investing in those core gameplay experiences and using all that power to really bring more experiences to everyone who jumps and plays Rainbow Six Siege.
And also it means that we're able to plan in advance for much deeper changes, things that require a lot more testing, a lot more preparation, things that are more complex. So it allows us actually to have a lot more freedom in what we're preparing for the future of Rainbow Six.
C'est un jeu qui va continuer à se déployer, qui va continuer à évoluer et qui va essayer de tendre vers son plein potentiel et sa pleine maturité. Il s'agit vraiment d'investir plus pour tout le monde.
At home. So let's get right into it. Roy, we usually talk about the upcoming year on these panels. In this case, year 5. We're already talking about year 6. Why is that?
Yeah, so the first thing that I have to get out there is the fact that the possibility of being able to talk about year 6 when we are entering year 5 is super exciting for everyone at the studio. Today we have the possibility to be able to project into the next 10 years of Rainbow Six Siege. Year 6, let's look at it this way. Year 6 is that year that is going to springboard Rainbow Six Siege into the future for the next 10, 15 years, whatever. You guys need to keep playing.
I love that commitment. So what can you tell us about year 6?
Yeah, so year 6, year 6 is a must to understand all of the changes that are happening in year 5. As unofficially some of you know, some of the changes that are happening in year 5 are coming up. And when we step back and we look at year 6, obviously the most salient aspect of it is that we're going to be delivering one operator per season. Now, I saw your faces, and this was a difficult choice for us as well. However, when we look at the amount of stuff that the team can work on today, there's no doubt that this is the right choice to go into the future with full confidence for Rainbow Six Siege. Now, this is allowing us to do a lot of things, right? It's allowing us to have a core gameplay focused philosophy, dive deeper into those aspects. It's allowing us to polish a little bit more our operators and the operators that we're going to be bringing into the roster of 50 plus operators that we have today. And also and here's a little bit of yes.
This is good.
And this is a little bit of a soft announcement, but it's also allowing us to work for next gen. So we are on next gen in the coming years. Absolutely. Again, it's really great. It's really investing into the future of Rainbow Six Siege. And this is the right time to do it. So we're very happy.
Long live Rainbow.
Absolutely.
JB, Roy is bringing up the importance of core gameplay focus. So what does that mean to you?
So I'll try to take a few examples, and to bounce back on what Roy said, it's really good to talk about this because thanks to the fact that we're bringing a bit less operator per years, we can be very ambitious about the other aspects of the gameplay, which are very important for us. There are three main things that we want to be looking at in the 2 next years, and the first one is the preparation phase and the support phase. I will take a few examples of questions that we're asking ourselves right now. And the first one is, for instance, how comes that as an attacker, the most meaningful thing that you can often do during the preparation phase is to just drive your drone back to your spawn point and then get it back in inventory. That doesn't feel like a super useful thing to do with your 45 seconds. And so right now we're prototyping things that could change a lot what's happening during this phase. Another example is for the support phase, which is how often, as Siege players, how often do you alt-tab? Seriously, let's be honest here. How often do you alt-tab after you're dead? That happens a lot. I do it. But the thing is, we could give you very good reasons not to do that. We could give you much higher stakes in what's happening there and much better tools to have an impact on the round. So these are the kind of things that we're looking at right now. They're very ambitious and have a lot of ramifications in different aspects of the game, in game balancing and all. But the fact that we can plan 2 years in advance like that is allowing us to be that ambitious. And I'm super happy about it because it means we have a real chance of bringing Siege gameplay to the next level.
Well, it seems like the way that you're hoping to achieve this is by giving players more options.
Yes, absolutely. That's another big pillar that we have for these next 2 years. As a tactical game, Siege is all about meaningful choices, but some of the things that we've gotten used to are not that meaningful when we look at them like that. Typically, a system like speed and armor, it was meant to be a trade-off when it was designed years ago, but when we look at how Siege is being played today, the reality is that speed is king, and armor doesn't matter that much. So we're pretty convinced we can make that more interesting. And another aspect of choices is the weapons. We know that rate of fire is king also in Siege, and so if you play DMR right now, you're really dedicated to a specific kind of gameplay, but most people don't really do that. So we're pretty convinced too that we can find weapon families that are underused and give you very good ways to play these weapons a lot more often and make it a more meaningful choice.
Well, it sounds like you guys are really taking an approach where instead of putting a fresh coat of paint on it or a new hat is to go back inside and to rearrange the existing content, to really fine-tune that.
That's exactly it. We really want to, and that's the third aspect of what we're trying to do during these next 2 years, we really want to focus on the existing content and we want to rework it progressively. We've done that a lot more in the past year for maps, for instance, and we've seen a lot of success in that. We've seen that it's really something that we have a lot of positive feedback on, and we want to do that more often for the other aspects of the gameplay, like the operators, for instance.
Okay. Well, you are really working hard on year 6. It sounds like that's an incredible ambition. But let's talk about year 5. We've still got some exciting stuff coming this year. So what's on the table?
Absolutely. So as I said before, year 5 is going to be that hybrid year that is going to take us to year 6. So the first half of year 5, it's pretty much what everyone knows. It's 2 operators per season. It's we're adding the arcade playlist. We're going to have 1 per season. We're also having the battle pass, and then we're going to have the second half of year 6, which this time around we're going to have. This is the time that we bring 1 operator per season, and as well, we're adding more arcade playlist into the mix.
And you're already teasing the future operators, right?
Yeah, that is correct. So the future operators that we're gonna have is, so we have South Africa and Norway for season 2, and for season 4, we have Thailand. Now, I know I didn't make a mistake when I was making this slide. Season 3, we're gonna keep it on the wraps. It's a little surprise that we're cooking for all of you, so I hope you guys like it. So stay tuned.
Well, you can have your surprises, Roy, but there's still some juicy information on that slide. I'm talking about the map reworks. We were introduced to the map rework for Oregon yesterday, but I saw 3 more reworks on there. The first one looking like House.
Yep, absolutely. House. Yep. Yeah, so, boom.
I guess I like it.
I don't think I need to say more.
Good job, Roy.
Yeah. That's great. The reality of House is that it's a casual rework. Basically what... Okay. Basically what we're doing is we're just making it a little bit bigger. We're adding an extra set of stairs.
Keep going, man.
I love what you've done with the place.
Yeah, and so again, it's we're rebalancing also the. It's a little bit. Anyway, it's a great rework. We're very excited for people to jump in and play it on season 2.
Sounds like they're pretty excited too.
It is.
Yeah, I'm glad to hear it, folks. Well, if you like that, we have so much more information. You guys are gonna love this.
Yeah.
After House, I saw Skyscraper on the list.
Yeah, Skyscraper. So we don't have a video for it. But what I can say, however, what I can say is that we're gonna tackle that choke point that is drum room. So we're gonna fix that, and we're also gonna be tackling balconies. We're gonna force a little bit more the entrance into the building.
Fantastic. Now, how about Chalet?
So, The last one is Chalet. And Chalet, this is one that, you know, the team is still unpacking and seeing what they have to work with, but we know that we want to ease some of the frustration that we have on the floors, so that is going to be tackled. And of course, all of these map reworks come with, as well, balancing of the objectives, so, you know, let's keep things spicy from now on.
Keeping it spicy, I love it.
Absolutely.
Anything else you can tell us about the map reworks?
Well, not really about the map reworks, but also about the seasons in general. You know, health updates, behavior, all of that is still gonna come every season, as always.
All right, well, thank you so much, Roy, for those insights. Very exciting information. JB, you're up once again. We're back to you. We've just been explaining ambitions for year 6, but we also have some core gameplay stuff coming in year 5.
Exactly. We already have a few first examples that we can show up. And the first one I want to talk about is what we call the Ping 2.0 system. So it's an improvement on the existing ping systems that you're used to and that you've been playing with. The difference here is that you can share the positioning and the nature of gadgets that have been deployed in the environment, either by your teammates or by the enemies. So it's a really easy way to share information with your friends. Even if you don't have a mic, it's like really useful.
Yeah, not everybody can use a microphone, not everybody wants to. Now there's no excuse to not be working as a team sharing that information.
Absolutely, and it ties back in what we were talking about before, which is trying to add stakes in the preparation phase and the support phase, this one being for both, actually. It's a very, very useful way as an attacker to like use your time with your drone, because if you spot some traps that have been deployed, for instance, by Frost or Capcan, like we saw in here, this is an information that can remain potentially longer, and so it's really useful for your teammates to just get that info. You don't need to make that perfect call and describe exactly where it is. The game is just going to help you do that.
Well, this is already a pretty beefy tool, but where do you see Ping 2.0 going?
So this one is really a first iteration. We've already seen tons of ideas being shared on social media or other games that have tried similar things. We already have other plans in mind. We just want to put it in players' hands as fast as possible, so that will be during the first half of year 5. And so expect it on TS pretty soon. And we will base the next iterations just based on your feedbacks.
Fantastic. Players, you can get their hands on that soon. And we also have new secondary gadgets coming into the game for the first time in a while. What can we expect?
So indeed, I'm very, very happy that we can bring some new gadgets to the mix, because in general, it's really, really fun. It's always something that impacts more than just one operator, so it's always a positive one. And also, we're bringing a really important one this time, because we're adding a secondary gadget for attackers that is going to do some hard breaching.
Tell me more.
So don't be afraid. It's always going to be a weaker version than Thermite, Hibana, or Maverick, because we want them to remain the king of that domain of the game. But we feel like by adding some hard breaching to the mix in the secondary gadgets, we're going to free up a bit the composition in attacks and allow for more diverse compositions in teams. For instance, if you're attacking a bomb site where you know that your strat only relies on opening one specific hatch, you're going to have the possibility to just not be forced to pick Hibana or Thermite or Maverick.
It's a lot more flexibility for attackers there. What have you got for defenders?
So defenders also are getting something. They're getting a proximity alarm that I think has already been talked about many times. It's coming. Basically, think about the metal detector in bank or a border, but this time defenders have them in their pocket and they can just throw it anywhere, and it's going to be a great flank watcher.
Wonderful. And JB, there's another thing we haven't quite touched on yet. Now, this is going to be a big one for competitive players, for casual players, for content creators. What's coming?
Indeed, this is a huge, huge thing. I'm talking about match replay. Our watch cell has been working on this for a while now. It's a huge, huge feature. We're only in pre-alpha state so far, but it already has a lot of the core functions that we want in this feature. You're going to be able to record your matches, get back into them, watch it from any point of view, from any player, or even from the top views that you're used to see when you watch Pro League. And we believe that this has a huge, huge potential to bring Siege also to the next level, because, like you said, it can be used to create YouTube videos, it can be used to reanalyze your strats when you're playing as a pro player or just as a ranked squad. Like, we absolutely believe in this feature, and you're going to be able to play a first pre-alpha version in the test server during the first half of your 5-2.
Wow, so this is coming so soon, and this is such a big tool. Anything else you want to tell us about it?
I'm incredibly excited about it, and I really can't wait for you to put your hands on it, because here again, it's something we're going to build with you guys. We will need your presence on TS a lot for this one.
Fantastic. And JB, I know we're going through this pretty quickly here, but now we're on the topic of reworks.
So,
yeah, this is
elephant
going
in
to be
the
a
room,
tough
I guess.
You know, JB, you guys said you were never going to do this.
We did say that, huh?
Yeah, but it looks like you gone and done it.
Yeah, we had to. He's too cute. We need our icon to be a playable operator, and added to that, we knew that it was actually costing a lot in terms of debugging, which is a bit paradoxical for someone who's never played. So we decided to get back on the drawing board, and we're reworking Tashanka.
Yeah, thank you. We can go home now.
I guess.
So what are you guys doing to Tashanka?
So the first thing, of course, is that the core of the issue is the turret itself. The concept of being immobile doesn't really fit with Siege gameplay, like you all know. So we've taken the weapon out of the turret, and as a first step, made it a primary weapon, meaning that you can just run around. And as you can see here, it has a huge amount of destruction power, so you can just use it for rotations. Like, it's a hell of a weapon now.
And then he's also getting a gadget?
Yeah, he's also getting an ability, which is an incendiary grenade launcher. Whew. And as you can see in game, it's pretty wild. So the whole concept here is that it's an area denial tool. It's something that you can pretty much spam projectiles with. It makes these little patches of fire on the ground, so you can use them just to slow down attackers' progression, deny a plant spot. So it's a sort of alternative to smoke, if you will.
He looks very exciting, and based on the reaction of the crowd, I know you guys can't wait to get your hands on the new Tashanka. But JV, you guys have gone and opened the floodgates now. You've changed Tashanka, so does that mean other reworks are on the table as well?
Yes, very much so. We really want to bring more reworks to the most problematic operators of Siege. I can't really get too specific right now, but we have other plans for year 6. And if you look regularly at the charts that we release that shows the most frustrating operators or the ones that are the least played, you can have a pretty good idea of who is next on our watch list.
Oh, JB, thank you so much. This has been very exciting. So much great info. Anything else you want to add?
Just super happy to be here.
Fantastic.
That's pretty much it.
We all are. And I'm very excited now to bring in Alex to the conversation. We've been talking a little bit about stuff to come in the game, and one of the biggest things is events. In year 4, events have been huge.
Yes, we know we got a large reception for all of the events in year 4, so we want to double down on events in year 5, one every single season, and make them bigger and better.
That's very exciting. So what have you decided to bring us now in year 5?
So on top of events, we have the arcade playlist now. And this is a temporary game mode that'll pop up really short, just for a weekend. And the first one we're talking about is something that's very near and dear to us. We grew up with first-person shooters on the N64, so we're bringing a golden gun mode.
That warms the heart, Alex. Now, this is just the start of what's to come for the playlist, right?
That's right. So with the arcade playlist, we want to tweak little gameplay elements, introduce something new, and then release more and more of them as the year goes on, and then once we get into year 6.
Do you guys have fun watching us play these games?
Heck yeah. Everybody's watching Twitch when we're playing and releasing these new things.
Well, speaking of changes in playlists, in addition to the arcade playlist, we saw another change coming. this one is a pretty big one. Got a lot of cheers from the crowd.
Yeah, so you asked for it. We're bringing map bans to Rainbow Six Siege.
Why don't you tell us how these map bans are going to work?
So whenever you start up a ranked playlist or an unranked playlist, you jump in and you have 3 maps to choose from the pool. Both teams will vote on which ones they want banned. The remaining one will be the one you play.
Fantastic. Couldn't be simpler. Now, every day the Rainbow Six online experience gets a little more competitive. You guys are taking it even a step further.
Right, so with map ban, that's coming year 5. In year 6, we're already laying the groundwork for something that we're calling the Rainbow Six Cup. This is taking the experience of the SI here and trying to package it up for everyone at home so you can play with 4 friends in a series of battles to find who's the best.
You're going to have a lot more pros on your hand come next year Invitational.
Yeah.
Alex, anything else you'd like to touch on?
I just want to address one thing that was brought up in the dev diary. As devs, as players ourselves, we have 0 tolerance for toxicity, harassment, cheaters, and we're going to keep it up. So the player behavior cell is working on the biggest feature yet, which is the reputation system. Next time we talk about it, you'll actually see something. We're taking it very seriously, and it goes with all the other features that we're bringing in year 5, year 6, all this core gameplay. We're excited to deliver more to all of you over and over again. Make Siege a better game.
You guys are all working so hard on that, and you have a wonderful community supporting you, giving you feedback. So thank you so much, Alex. Thank you, Roy. Thank you, JB, for coming on out here, for breaking it down for us, and for bringing us all this exciting news. Now, before we head to the culmination of our The Program CGI, we have one more surprise. We paired up with Crystal Dynamics to bring you a very special skin for Ash.